Game 5 is still closed, and the New York Knicks are NBA champions. Finals MVP goes to Jalen Brunson, 45 points in the close of that game. I think this is the graphic that they show it on ESPN. Only other player to do that is Michael Jordan, and I forget the year that they said that he did it in, but regardless, Michael Jordan is the only other player to do this. Was that as a guard or against a netter? I don't know. That doesn't matter. But that part of the fact of the matter is that Jalen Brunson Finals MVP, 45 points, well deserved. It was kind of up in the air on whether or not, is it going to be him or OG. Cat kind of had a little motion for Finals MVP at the beginning of the series, but he played kind of bad today, and he kind of fell out. Not necessarily completely fell out, but from games 3 to 4, he wasn't as impactful as he was in games 1 and 2. So it was between Jalen Brunson and OG, but a 45-point game to close it out is pretty much undeniable. I mean, you kind of have to give him Finals MVP at that point. If they didn't give it to him, they still give it to OG. That'd be a bit extreme. But he did win it, so we didn't have to talk about that. He was especially important in this game because obviously the Spurs they had another lead again. They went up, great first quarter, went up by 16, I believe was how high their lead got at one point. But during that point, Jalen Brunson, he was still cooking. He was really the only one cooking. Towards the end of the game, or actually at the end of the game, they showed a graphic that showed Jalen Brunson had 45, and the rest of the Knicks combined had 49. So he pretty much scored half of the team's points, and he carried them on his back to win them the championship. But when the Knicks were down, like I briefly touched on, he was he was still driving to the basket, still hitting threes. Obviously, he hit that one where Wemby landed into him. I feel like that one kind of lit a fire in him because he didn't get the call, rightfully so. That should have been a flagrant. It was like, and they went and checked, and he gave the refs an earful to let them know how he felt. And I feel like, I knew the Spurs. I knew that their lead was fugazi because they did this literally every game in the series. Every single game, they went up, they took a double-digit lead after the first quarter, and maybe this, the Spurs they got into a hard start. And then the second quarter, what happens? The same bullshit happens. They choke the lead away, and it's like, I genuinely don't know if they just start missing shots, they just forget how to play basketball, because there's no way, are they gassed or something? They can't be that gassed because the maximum age of the team, the average age is 25? They can't be that gassed. I'm sorry. If your conditioning is that bad, if that really is the reason, they need to get a whole strength and conditioning team, because there's no way a team full of a bunch of 25, 26, 23 and under year olds should be just falling off like that after the first quarter. I get that other team can maybe raise the intensity and whatnot, but the Knicks, it never felt a Spurs lead, especially after the first game, it never felt safe. Never felt like, they have it in the hands. Even in game 3, which they ended up winning, they almost choked it away. They almost lost that game. So it wasn't even they were able to really stamp it and have a convincing win. The only win that they had, they won by 1 or 2, and it was De'Aaron Fox, which I'll get onto him in a later because I could go on with the whole spiel about De'Aaron Fox and his shitty ass performance. But going back to the Knicks side of things, they just have a certain resiliency. You can never count the Knicks out of a game. And they proved it. They proved it the regular season, proved it throughout the playoffs. They dominated most of their opponents prior to the Spurs. But regardless, down the stretch, the Knicks have always shown, especially Jalen Brunson, time and time again, when there's some adversity, we're not gonna shy. We're a team full of some grown ass men. We gonna show up and we gonna show out. I want to make sure to give a lot of my love to the Knicks first before I transition to the Spurs, because there is some things I need to be addressed. But like I said, I want to focus mostly on the Knicks because they're the ones who won the championship. Shout out to Mike Brown, Coach of the Year. It's funny. I saw this on Twitter, so I'm not gonna give myself credit, but someone said that it'd be funny, like you told Mike Brown that he'd end up winning a championship with De'Aaron Fox, or because of De'Aaron Fox, I should say. You told him that after he was getting fired from the Kings, you wouldn't believe it. But in a way, he kind of did it, because De'Aaron Fox's performance, is left a lot to be desired. But shout out to Mike Brown. I know he's won as an assistant with the Warriors. At least I'm pretty sure he has. Obviously, first time winning as the head coach. So shout out to him. He's been a head coach in the league for a minute. Obviously, he coached, was coaching Braun back in the day. Kind of back in the day. I mean, back in my day, because that's when I was a kid and stuff. But I was really only mid to late 2000s. But shout out to Mike Brown, great coach. Obviously, he's a championship winning coach for a reason. So just want to get my hands out to him. I mentioned a little bit earlier, like I said, he didn't have necessarily the best performance today. But shout out to Karl Anthony Towns. I know it was a big moment for him and his family, obviously with his mom he always says that after games, with especially in the finals, that he feels like she's watching over him in a sense. So obviously he's been through he lost a lot of family members to COVID and things like that, and so just it's like a feel good story, especially all the shit that happened with the Timberwolves, and people calling him soft. And people feeling like some type of way about Cat as a player. It feels good to see him get the championship. And I know it's probably most of the moment for him. I think that's I really hope he enjoys it, and it's just so good. Because hey, shout out to Cat. I mean, he's really deserving. It's kind of funny how Cat and Wiggins, they both ended up winning rings before Jimmy Butler. Obviously, Wiggins won with the Warriors in 2020, and Cat gets one today. And Butler, obviously, there's no disrespect, but it's funny how they had that whole little fiasco with the Timberwolves, with him going at them with the practice squad, and now they're both NBA champions. I guess that's kind of funny. Shout out to OG Anunoby too. I thought he did that end up winning Finals MVP. Like I said earlier, he was a contention, played great. I mean, he played phenomenal the entire playoffs, but especially in this series, he was very effective on defense, offense. I mean, he was just doing everything. That's kind of like the play that every team. Obviously, he's damn near like a one-on-one role player. I don't even know how I want to say that anymore. And the way he operates, sometimes it doesn't feel like he's playing within a role. Like he just be out there hooping. But if every team had the OG Anunoby on their team, they'd be ecstatic, because he's just one of those kind of talents, and he just really, I don't really have to put it into fully details, but he's just really good. I guess I kind of can close on my portion about the Knicks. So I can kind of get into the Spurs. So Victor Wembanyama, mentioned a little bit earlier, but he didn't play good this game. I mean, this whole series, he was kind of iffy up and down. He did have some obviously good moments. It wasn't like ass or anything. I'm trying to say that, but he did leave some things to be desired. What is his first finals appearance? He's only 22. I'm sure, at least I think he will. I think he'll have some more finals appearances. I don't think he's just going to be one and done. I can't speak for the rest of the people on the Spurs, but I think with Wemby, I think they'll definitely be back. I think he'll take it on the chin and see how he can improve and get better in the offseason and work to try to come out with some revenge. But today, and kind of gets the entire series, he didn't do really anything down the clutch, down the stretch of the games. I don't know if he was, I don't want to say scared of the moment, because I feel like that can kind of get blown out of proportion, but he just wasn't hitting his shots towards the end, especially his free throws too. He missed one of the free throws to, I think it was to bring them within one, as if I remember the circumstances correctly. He missed that free throw. Obviously, last game he missed back-to-back free throws, and that kind of give the Knicks really the opening to complete the 29-point comeback. And so, other than that, I mean, Wemby, I think I would give his overall series probably a B. Obviously, the defensive impact is going to be there, but the offense definitely did leave a lot to be desired. But I think he will bounce back. I don't think he's just gonna completely fold. He doesn't seem like that kind of person, anyways. At least from what we know about Wemby and things like that. So the future, obviously, there is still bright. Speaking of people whose future is definitely still bright, Dylan Harper. I mean, he was damn near the best player. It felt like at times during the finals, he was definitely the best player today. Just the way that he gets into the basket. I've repeated this a bunch of times on all these videos I made, but his ability to leave the basket at will is just insane. And obviously he missed a layup at the end, but other than that, he was spectacular in his finals. So it would be interesting to see how they are moving forward. Will when they move off of Fox, he has a humongous contract. So I don't know if anyone really wants to pursue that contract, but I feel like he kind of has to start. I feel like there's really no other option. I'm going to get ahead of it before it's too late. Because he's just a special talent, really, and not even just offensively, defensively, he's been guarding too. And down the stretch, I would have preferred that the ball was in his hands more than De'Aaron Fox. I'll just get into it because it still pissed me off, his performance. De'Aaron Fox, 3 of 15, I think is what he shot. Just not good throughout the playoffs, especially not in the finals. Just kind of an embarrassing performance. I saw his press conference from last game. He was kind of laughing about it, and he didn't really seem care the fact that he was playing bad, or Sauce wasn't hooping down the stretch. And I don't know if it's just if he truly doesn't care, or he's just trying to be all nonchalant about it. But the way he was treating it, it just didn't seem like he cared about the fact that he kind of sold last game, and he sold this game too. 3 or 15. If he just makes a few more, he didn't even have to shoot hella efficient. If he just goes 5 for 15 instead of 3 for 15, they win this game, and they see a game 6. But no, played terrible. Down the stretch, it seemed like the ball all this time ended up in his hands, And every time I watched him shoot up a shot, I was like, oh my God, De'Aaron Fox somehow shooting another shot. And he missed pretty much every shot. I don't think any of them went in. So yeah, I guess just not a good performance. I know off-season talk. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself there, but trading De'Aaron Fox is definitely something I would, if I was the Spurs, in that front office, is something I would certainly consider. So yeah. Obviously, though, De'Aaron isn't the sole reason they lost against Stephon Castle. Also shot like he only had like one field goal, I think, which I think it was the dunk at the end to cut it to 2. Maybe he made like one more basket early in the game. But yeah, at least he will, like, when he's not shooting well, he'll be playing defense. When De'Aaron Fox isn't shooting well or scoring well, it's like, what is he really offering? I mean, I guess he had like 5 assists or whatever, but he's turning the ball over too and just doing silly stuff. At that point, it's not even worth it. Last thing I do kind of want to touch on for the Spurs aspect is Mitch Johnson. Definitely questionable. Some questionable decisions. Again, similar to De'Aaron Fox's press conference, Mitch Johnson was saying that, he doesn't try to read into the social media stuff about, De'Aaron Fox playing on the stretch. And he said, despite all that, De'Aaron Fox is going to have the ball in his hands down the stretch. And he wasn't kidding. Unfortunately, De'Aaron Fox did find the ball in his hands a lot down the stretch, and the Spurs paid for it. So I don't know. He really has lived and died with De'Aaron Fox. It's still really questionable because Dylan Harper's hooping, Stephon Castle and early shooting well, De'Aaron Fox is shooting well. You put your team in the best position, to win and stuff, and just to see De'Aaron Fox, quite frankly, just to see him in the game and all was kind of frustrating. You would think he would get out, but I guess he wanted to ride his players and keep some sort of confidence. Maybe it does. Maybe De'Aaron Fox getting paid upwards of $50 million. Probably plays a part in the politics of him playing down the stretch and things like that. But at that point, you're trying to win the game. Who gives a fuck about? I'm gonna say who gives a fuck about the politics? Like, we need to put the best players on the court to win. And when the best players aren't on the court, you're setting yourself up for failure at that point. So a lot of questionable decisions there, and obviously this is his first finals appearance, so he can learn and grow from this, but it just a lot of this is, I guess, just confusing. But yeah, man, I think that's pretty much it. Shout out to the New York Knicks again, NBA champions. I know they probably blowing up the city right now. They probably climbing up poles and chanting, and people going crazy in the streets. There's probably some guy still on video chanting "fuck Trae Young" even after they win a championship. But shout out to the Knicks. Shout out to the Knicks fans. They definitely deserve it. The praise probably going to be crazy too. But hope y'all enjoy the finals content. I'm gonna try to do some off-season videos as well with rumors, including things like that, and just get other related NBA things. Try to keep the content going so I don't just completely fall off until basketball season starts up again. Which, damn, I just realized this is the last basketball game I'm gonna see for. We have like summer league and stuff, and then I guess preseason, but actual regular season, and then the playoffs won't be until next April and things like that. But yeah, I think that was a pretty good NBA season overall. I definitely enjoyed the playoffs. Definitely enjoyed. This is a really good finals, I would say. I thoroughly enjoyed watching these finals. But yeah, like I said, I'm gonna say it one more time. Next NBA champions, Captain Jalen Brunson, Finals MVP, and hey, they showed. They had that veteran experience. They showed why they should be the champions. Because if the Spurs, obviously, if you're a Spurs, you can say, we had leads in all the games and blah 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 blah. Or whatnot. But at the end of the day, y'all chose those leads. Y'all can regroup, try to retool, get back next year, see what y'all can make shake. Maybe Vic goes on the crazy revenge tour, wins MVP and DPOY in the same year, finals, and then it's like this never happened. Wash your hands clean. But for now, Spurs gotta sit with this. Let the emotions go, and just focus on that. While the Knicks, they pop in champagne, in y'all locker room. So yeah, peace.